Hey guys, it's Kubrick here from Kick It to Scoops. I am the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumors and results. You want to be part of the show, Kick It to Scoops? Send through your questions through the Facebook link, which I'll attach every show on the post. And if you want to email me at aflinfolive@gmail.com, send through your questions and you may feature on the show and be answered your question from yours truly, Kubrick, for free. Yes, for free. If you want to be on the show, as I said, send it through and I'll get back to you. Go Saints! Hello everyone and welcome to a very special 4th edition of Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Kubrick, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumours and results. Heading to you from another virtual edition. Hopefully this is the last virtual edition of Kick It to Scoops, but we'll have to wait and see. And I've got a big show for you guys today. We've got 3 editions of Scoops Goes Bang. Then go through my rolling All-Australian team, preview and review the rounds just gone. Scoops' Hero of the Week. Your voice messages. Scoops Files is back for a second week. And this, I know it's only the second edition of Scoops Files, but I reckon it's going to be the biggest. I repeat, the biggest Scoops Files in Kick It to Scoops history. My final thoughts also. And may bring up the merch again. But first of all, I'm going to tease you, this Scoops Files is big. Oh, and while I'm at it, you want me on Cameo? I'm still on Cameo, guys. Head to cameo.com/CooperG. The merch. I want to quickly mention the merch before getting into the show today. All the merch is sold out. I really do appreciate every single one of you that have bought a top, a mug, or if you're a legend like Austin King, who is the king of buying Kick It to Scoops merch. Austin King, you are that king. He bought all 3 tops and the mug. I want to give a great special shout out to Austin King. He got his own Facebook post. Now he's getting a video message for free from yours truly, Cooper Gretsch, on Kick It to Scoops. So Austin King, you are the king. Some people asking if there'll be merch in the future. We're not so sure. So I'm not so sure at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe down the line, but there's no guarantees. Now, let's welcome the best segment going around on Kick It to Scoops, everyone's favourite segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Well. What can I say? I've got 3 editions of Scoops Goes Bang. The first one seems to be on repeat every week, but the umpiring in general is absolutely crap. And I mean crap. The umpiring, now people say I don't like Essendon or Richmond. There was no bias in that game in particular was the worst one-sided favouring umpiring to Richmond I have seen in a long time. Well, actually, I won't take that back in a long time, probably since last week. But that shows how bad the umpiring's been. But that umpiring in the Essendon-Richmond game at the Dreamtime at the O in Perth was terrible. Jordan really, I think, tackled one of the Richmond defenders, and Jake Carson might have been up forward. Threw the ball, not holding the ball. There was a few. It was embarrassing. Dustin Martin even stopped and knew it was holding the ball, and they didn't pay it. The umpiring in that game was ridiculous. Dean Margetts and the 2 other hack umpires that were umpiring in that game, you should be dropped to the Waffle or whatever local competition. You have been terrible. Absolutely crap. It probably did affect the game to Essendon. They did lose 7 goals in a row to Richmond in the last quarter, but it was pathetic umpiring. That game was garbage umpiring. It was embarrassing. Holding the ball against Richmond does not exist. And while I'm at it, never exists against the Western Bulldogs or Geelong either. Now, the second of Scoops Goes Bang is the media's disrespect towards St Kilda pair Jack Higgins and Max King. I'm singling out Matty Lloyd in particular, Kane Corns, the Sunday Footy Show, which is a show I love watching with TJ and the crew, but no, I'm not calling him that other name, TJ. Look, it was disrespectful. The M. Higgins soundtrack was being played through 3AW as well. Pathetic. 3AW, the AFL website, afl.com.au. The headline was talking about M. Higgins. I'm not repeating the word for Higgins, but it was disrespectful. Last time I checked, guys, yes, Jack Higgins had a great game. 1 goal, 6, 22 touches, and could have won St Kilda the game. Had a few misses late, unfortunately. I mean, they were gettable, but they're not certainties. And last time I checked, Aaron Norton kicked 1 goal, 5 for the Western Bulldogs yesterday or on Sunday night with their win over Freo in Perth. People can say, oh, well, Western Bulldogs won. Okay. Well, then I'll go to Tex Walker, who had a great game also, kicked 2 goals, 6. Adelaide lost by under a goal against the Pies in Adelaide. Where's the headlines towards Tex Walker or Aaron Norton? I didn't say, oh, that's right. We've got to target single out St Kilda players, the media do. They hate St Kilda, a lot of the media. There's always disrespect shown towards St Kilda as a club in general. You rarely see a positive story from someone on the AFL website, which I won't name. Always gets to talk when they lose, but not when they win. That great win against West Coast a few months ago at Marvel. Didn't hear a peep from that bloke. Anyway, the disrespect continuously towards Max King is terrible. Obviously, Brett Wren came out during the presser after the game that he had a broken back. He played with a bad back. Yes, his form hasn't been great. His golfing's been terrible. It's pretty obvious, but don't have to keep harping on the poor guy. And Jack Higgins also be feeling crap after the loss because, of his misses. But it's disrespectful. Media, lift your game. You want credibility, as I said last week. You deserve no credibility after the crap you dished out to Jack Higgins and Max King. Now, this next Scoop Goes Bang is an interesting one nonetheless. This guy was a part of the disrespect, but I'm going to signal him out for a few instances. Matty Lloyd, the one that calls himself Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise. I can't even speak. Tom Cruise. I'm so mad I can't speak. A few reasons. Matty Lloyd obviously got rejected to help Max King with his goalking, who Max King originally asked him, and St Kilda said no in the end. I wouldn't have been against Matty Lloyd helping out Max King, as obviously he was a great full forward and great goal kicker. Max King asked for the help. St Kilda ended up saying no. I can partly understand it, but they have Jared Rufford in that role. But then Matty Lloyd to make smart-ass remarks on radio and on Footy Classified and on the Sunday Footy Show. Lloydy, Kane Corns was part of the reason why you kept getting brought up, but lift your game, Lloydy. Obviously, you weren't happy about it and just move on. Like you said, they's good. Then they make smart-ass remarks, snide remarks saying about St Kilda's golfing and they would have won had you have helped Maxi King during the week. Look, come on, Lloydy. And Lloydy, that's not the only thing. You were saying in your closing Cook segment on Footy Classified last night that there's only one Scoops in Sam MacLeod, who was coincidentally on the show.
And while I'm nailing him even harder, there's only one Scoop in town, and it's not you, Tom. It's our man who's hosting tonight. So, or you got to come up with a new name and tag because there's only one Scoop in town.
Good stuff, Lloydy. Great to have you on. Lloydy,
Sam MacLeod may be Scoops, but I am Scoops 2.0, Lloydy. I am Scoops 2.0. This is in reference, as I said, to your closing Cook segments when Channel 7 had a graphic. I can't remember the exact title, but had the name Scoops in it, and hence you brought that up when Tommy Brown, Hamish McLaughlin and Luke Hodge were talking in a segment, saying, as I said, saying Sammy McLeod's the only Scoops. No, he is maybe a Scoops, but I am Scoops 2.0. Just remember that, Lloydy. I am 2.0. That was the three things on this very, very famous edition of Scoops Goes Bang. Now, I'm going to move on, guys, to my rolling All-Australian team, the heavily debated rolling All-Australian team. We'll start off in the back line. An unchanged back three, the key defender in Sam Collins still, and the pockets in Jakey Lloyd and Isaac Cumming, who's having a great season for the Giants. At the half back line, a new addition to the side from the Pies, Jack Crisp. He's very crisp with his disposal, isn't he? And at centre half back, we've got Darcy Moore. How many more good performances is Darcy going to put on? He's putting on a lot of good performances as Darcy Moore. Daniel Rich at the half back line also. He is a rich boy at the moment, isn't he? Getting a big contract with the way he's playing at the moment, Daniel Rich. Jack Crisp is the new addition to the back six. Still the wingers, Sam Walsh and Ollie Wines, both having terrific seasons. Yes, they're not pure wingmans, as I say every week, but there's not really any wingmans, probably now bar Andrew Gaff, that are having great seasons as a wingman. and Jack Steele is the centerman because he's a man Steele. The forward 6 is unchanged, but was debated about David Mundy, Toy Miller, and Benny King, the top half of the forward half. And in the forward pockets, we've got Jack Darling and Tex Walker, and Harry Mackay is the full forward, who's going to miss with concussion next week, but Carlton have the buys, so he may not miss a game at all. The ruckman and the new addition to the side, yes, Brodie Grundy is out only because of one reason, trolls. He's out because he's missed this week. He's going to miss next week, and then the Pies have a bye. So welcome back to my team in the ruck is the Swans gun ruckman at the moment, Tom Hickey. Tom Hickey's having a great season. A few weeks off of injury, but his games have been performing pretty well. And against the Saints on the weekend, albeit Ryder won the hitouts, Hickey had a solid game nonetheless, and he's back in the team. And the other sentiment is Jackson McRae from the Bulldogs, who had another great game on the weekend, and Tommy Mitchell from the Hawks. Whether people want to debate it or not, bad luck, doesn't impact the game, turn it up, as Gazy would say. And on the interchange, we have Luke Parker, Clayton Oliver, Callum Mills, and Zach Merritt from the Bombs, all unchanged. So overall, the 2 changes for my round 12 rolling All-Australian team, from round 11 for the round 12 one, in is Jack Crisp from the Pies with his crisp disposals, and Tom Hickey, ruckman from the Swans. Out goes Jack Zeeble from the Roos. Probably a bit harsh maybe, but he may be back in a few weeks, or maybe even next week. And Brodie Grundy is out, as I said. So that is my rolling All-Australian team for round 12. Leave your comments down below what your thoughts are. And I may respond to a few through the YouTube link and, of course, as always, on the Facebook page. Then we're going to review some of the games for review some of the games from round 12. Obviously, only 6 games with the buys. So we had on the Friday night at Giant Stadium, we had Melbourne v Brisbane. Melbourne 97 defeated the Brisbane Lions 75, 22-point victory to Melbourne. Pretty good performance for them. But Brisbane started off terrific. Then Melbourne pulled on the goals in the last quarter and had a good win in the end. The Swans and the Saints, St Kilda 83, defeated by the Swans 92. James Rowbottom got a late goal in the last 30 seconds. As we mentioned in my Scoops Goes Bang, Jake Higgins had a few chances, but Jake Higgins had a great game. As I said, 1 goal, 6, 23 touches. He was terrific. Timmy Membry with 2 goals and 20 was awesome. Brad Crouch at 38. He was great, trolls. He was fantastic, as was Jack Steele with 31. The Crows and the Pies. What a great game this was. Adelaide 73 defeated by the Pies 78. Jamie Elliott back early from injury, kicked 6 goals and 14, 15 touches. Jamie Elliott was on fire. Essendon and Richmond. Richmond won 23 to Essendon 84. As I said in Scoops Goes Bang also, Richmond pulled on 7 late goals in the last quarter in a row. I thought Essendon were pretty good up until then. Darcy Parish got best on ground and deserved it with 44 touches, or however many he got. Dustin Martin says, people say I never mention his name, did not deserve the best on ground. Thank you very much. Jesus, you want to know what game you're watching. 53% efficiency, I think he had with 8 turnovers to turn it up. The game on Sunday, or one of the 2 games on Sunday, Carlton 73, the Eagles 95. Yeah, Carlton would be very disappointed if Eagles having a lot of players there. Carlton had Harry Mackay go off early, their key forward, but the Coleman medal winner, or leader, rather. But yeah, they'll be very disappointed not beating an undermanned Eagles side. And the Dockers and the Bulldogs, the final game of round 12, Freo 65 to the Dogs 93. Yeah, Freo had some chances late, but Bulldogs were probably always in control there, with Jackson McRae best on the ground. Now, going to preview the games for round 13. Again, there'll be some teams with the bye, 4 teams rather, but we're going to go through some of the games, or all the games for round 13. On Thursday night at the Adelaide Oval, we're going to have Port Adelaide versus Geelong. Interesting game. Obviously, Geelong just had the bye, coming back from the bye. Port Adelaide, yeah, I'm going to go for the power in a close game at the Adelaide Oval. Geelong will obviously regain Cam Guthrie, which would be good for them, and potentially Paddy Dangerfield also. So, yeah, it'd be very interesting there, but I'm going to go for the power. Swans and the Hawks at the SCG Friday night. As we playing a walk in the park for the Swannies, they'll be far too good for the inexperienced Hawks. The Dockers and the Suns Saturday, twilight game at 4:35 in Perth. I'm going to go for the Suns. The Dockers have been hit with injuries. They had another 5 on the weekend, including Nat 5, the superstar. So I'm going to go for the Gold Coast, even though it's in Perth. Saints and the Crows, which is now being confirmed, it will be in Cairns at Kazali Stadium, a great venue. I love that venue. But game, Saints going to miss Timmy Membry and Seb Ross due to family reasons. Seb's partner recently having twins, and Timmy Membry's partner going to have a baby soon. So congratulations to Timmy and Seb, but they'll be sorely missed. I'm going to go for the Saints, obviously. This should be a danger game for the Saints. The Crows are performing okay. And on Sunday, we got North Melbourne and GWS in Tassie. I'm going to go for the Giants pretty comfortably there. And the Sunday night game in Perth, it was originally meant to be in round 14, which is pushed forward to round 13, so Richmond can go home early. And then Richmond can thank West Coast with all the injuries they got. West Coast versus Richmond in Perth, Sunday night, 7:10. I'm going to go for the West Coast Eagles. Sorry, take that back. I'm going to go for Richmond. Yeah, you wish, West Coast fans. I am going to go for Richmond, believe it or not. And the final game on Monday, Queen's birthday at the SCG for the big freeze for Neil Danaher. I'm going to go for Melbourne in this game, but it should be an interesting game because it's at a neutral venue at the SCG. Now, we're going to move on to the next segment, which is going to be some of your voice messages. So we're going to get to hear some of them. And because the show, we have no big special guest, or I might at the end, you don't know. We're going to hear some of your voice messages. So here's some of the first few.
Hello, Cooper. This is Philip from Serbia, all the way in Europe. And I'm a huge fan of your Facebook page and your podcast now. You know, in Serbia, all we have is tennis, really. All we have to do is follow Djokovic. So to have a new sport, I got into it in lockdown last year, and it's been fantastic. And having your Facebook page has been a good resource for me to learn about the game and to learn about the media surrounding the game. So I just wanted to know, because I know you go for the St. Kildas. What makes Tim Membry such a damaging player, in your opinion? Thank you, Cooper. Have a good day.
Thank you, Philip. First of all, Philip from Serbia, what a beast you are for watching from Serbia. I actually have seen some of your comments on my Facebook page, mate, so I really do appreciate that. Timmy Membry, he's a great player. I had him in my top 10 study, which created a lot of debate. But I wanted to balance it out, not just go for the obvious choices of all the midfielders and the star ruckman like Brody Grundy from Collingwood. But I know Timmy Membry is one of the best, if not the best, hybrid forward in the competition. I'm not talking about key forwards. I'm talking about the third tall type players like a Jack Gunson, Matty Taberner, Tim Membry, those types. And Timmy Membry is a great hybrid forward. He can push up the ground, and as he did on the weekend through the back half. Thank you, Philip, again. We'll move to the next question.
Yeah, g'day, Scoops. Just wondering, mate, who do you think's closer to a premiership out of Kangas, Collingwood, Hawks, and Saints? Cheers, buddy.
Thank you. Essendon, rather. North Melbourne and Hawthorn are a long way off. Collingwood are a fair way off, not a long, long way off. So that leaves the Saints, and the Saints played in finals last year, and they'll still a chance for finals this year. So pretty obvious one, mate. The Saints for sure. There's no bias in that. That's fact. Next, we'll move on to the next question.
Hello, Cooper. Steve Patterson here from Brighton. Just wondering which situation you'd prefer to attend. Dinner at Subway with Fraser Garrick, or going to a local bakery for some lunch with Stephen Milne? Thanks a lot. Keep up the good work, mate.
Mr. Steve from Brighton, thank you very much for your question. I want to go for the dinner with the G train at Subway because I love Subway. So we'll go with that one, mate. We'll move on to the next question.
G'day, Coops. Nigel Patterson here from Adelaide. Long-time caller, first-time listener. Just wondering, are you more of a Nike fan or an Adidas fan? And also, describe your favourite breakfast. Keep up the good work and stick it to the trolls, mate. Cheers.
I will stick it to the trolls, mate, so thank you very much. Nike or Adidas, I think you're going to go by that because of the clothing I've been wearing through my episodes in the interview with Tommy Morris. I'm going to unanswer that. I'm not going to answer that question in particular. Your favourite breakfast, mate? I don't know. Maybe egg on, I don't know, bacon and egg muffin, maybe. We'll go with that. Now, before we go to some more of your voice messages, we're going to move on to another segment called Scoops' Hero of the Week. Now, you could heavily debate who's my hero of the week. my hero of the week is, well, I don't know. It's you guys. It is you guys. All the number, I'm actually not going to mention the number on here because none of the trolls deserve to find out the actual number of people that have bought my merchandise. But my heroes, or technically heroes of the week, are the many, many people who have bought my merch. And again, as I mentioned earlier, Austin King, you are the king, buying all 3 tops and the mug. You're a beast, but not also Austin, but every other single one of you who have bought my merchandise, you are my hero of the week. So thank you all very much. To the people that have missed out, there may be something in the future, but as I said earlier, there may not be. So again, for the people that have, and Austin, you guys are legends. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to the final question for you guys, and I believe it may be Philip from Serbia again.
I don't know if I'm allowed to ask a second question, Scoops. It's Philip again from Serbia. But I would just like to know if you could answer 2 questions in the same podcast. But if not, just I'll get to you in the next podcast, I guess. I would just like to know what you think of the other teams. Who do you sort of think the biggest Saints rivals at the moment? Obviously they're not having the greatest season. I think you would agree, but I would like to know sort of who you think the toughest games are going to be for the Saints for the rest of the season.
Thank you, Philip, for your question. So the Saints' biggest rivals, mate, are probably Melbourne. I've been a long history. St Kilda had a long winning streak against Melbourne up until a few seasons ago. And also the toughest game coming up for the Saints, probably going to be Brisbane at the Gabba in, I think, 4 games' time. So, yeah, that's probably the biggest game coming up for the Saints, mate, in probably 3 or 4 weeks' time. So now we'll move on to a segment that has been reintroduced this week. It's called Scoops Files. Let me take that back. Scoops Files. Enjoy.
I don't think it's the best night of my life. I've had some pretty good nights, but it's certainly up there.
We move on. So the reason you heard that voice was Paddy Dangerfield. That was all the way back in the 2016 AFL Brownlow medal. That video was courtesy of afl.com.au, but I want to point out that question you didn't hear, you heard an answer from Danger after he won the 2016 Brownlow medal. The question was, is this the best night of your life? Now, the reason you're probably thinking, guys, how does he know what the question was if it wasn't shown in the clip? Well, yours truly, Cooper Gretsch, the sole admin of AFL Information, Trade Rumours and Results, all the way back in 2016, asked that exact same question to Paddy Dangerfield, the 2016 Brownlow medalist. Yes, that was me asking him the question. So there's the backstory of that. That's what Scoops Files is. Scoops Files is all about history of mine or present, but that was obviously history back in 2016. Danger was a beast. I had a good chat to Danger after it. So, yes, that's Scoops Files for episode 4 of Kick It to Scoops. Now, my final thoughts, guys, for the show. Obviously, been a good show. No major guests this week, but to make up for no major guests this week, there's a good possibility, a strong possibility that there will be 2 huge guests on the show next week. There's one locked in. The other one I'm not 100% sure with yet. But there's one huge guest locked in. And fair to say, it'll be a big, big name. Or the 2 big names, and the one is a current AFL player. I'm going to give you guys a hint. The name has been mentioned at some stage during the show, whether that was just then, halfway through the show, or at the very, very start. Keep an eye out for what huge name I have mentioned throughout the show, and that particular footballer will appear on the show next week. And in addition to that, another huge name in the AFL media landscape, hopefully. But that's all for now. But, before I go, you want me on a Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. My Cameo is going nowhere. To the people that don't like me plugging it, I'm going to plug it again. Head to cameo.com/CooperG. Now, as I said, the merch, again, I want to thank every single one of you that have bought the merch. Really, really do appreciate that. And if you want more in the future, well, it may or may not be. But again, as I said, to Austin King and every other legend that has bought a top or a mug, I really do appreciate that. Till next week, everyone. Hopefully it's not virtually, but if it is, it is. And to use my favorite phrase that everyone seems to say, I say a lot now, it is what it is. Now, we'll see if it's virtual next week. We're not sure. If it's in person, that's great. Until next week, everyone, have a good one and take care. And most importantly, go Saints!